Niger's new military leader, General Abdourahmane Tchiani, is consolidating his hold on power after overthrowing democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum in a military coup on Wednesday. But all eyes are now focused on the Economic Community of West African States regional bloc for a strong response to the coup. The leadership of ECOWAS has called for an emergency meeting in the Nigerian capital Abuja on Sunday to decide on what action to take against the military regime in Niger. CGTN's Deji Bademosi brings us an update.
Seeking to legitimize his regime, the new military leader of Niger, General Abdourahmane Tchiani, has met with government officials on Friday for the first time since Wednesday's coup. He is expected to hold similar meetings with politicians and other groups in the coming days as he seeks to build more support for his government. But even as he does all this, General Tchiani will be keeping an eye on regional bloc ECOWAS, which has condemned the coup and insists on the restoration of democratic order in Niger. The bloc has called for a crucial meeting in Abuja on Sunday to decide on its next line of action against General Tchiani and fellow coup plotters. Analysts say the body must be resolute in its response.
The punishment, the right punishment has not been meted out to the military adventurers, and you see the people, other militaries in other West African countries being emboldened to do the same thing because they derive profit from what is going on, and that is personal aggrandizement.
Lately, ECOWAS, under the chairmanship of Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, has been vocal against the trend of coups taking place in the region and had planned to set up an intervention force to deter them just before the General Tchiani-led military takeover in Niger. It's not certain if the use of force could be on the agenda in Sunday's meeting.
I know we have done it before and we can do it again. And that is the fact that we can tell the military boys, come on, return back to your constitutional role. What you have done is an usurpation, of power, a violation of the constitution of the country. And, we can make them realize that you have this time frame, to the needful, or we come in there and restore, democratic rules. I think we don't need to, think about sanctions or think about, dialoguing with them, which should be the riot act.
Apart from the fact that it will be tricky to put boots on the ground, apart from the fact that it is going to be a matter, it's going to take a lot of resources to be able to do that, there's another third factor that has to be considered. For as long as you have a divided populace, it will be difficult for ECOWAS to take a decision, either to put boots on the ground. They must factor this thing in, and they must factor it. And then that is why I'm saying it is going to be a little bit complex, especially because of that.
There are suggestions ECOWAS may impose strict sanctions as a first line of action. And if they don't work, the body may take tougher actions, including the use of some level of force to get General Tchiani and his military loyalists to restore democracy in Niger. The international community has made it clear it would support whatever action ECOWAS decides to take. All eyes are now on the Abuja meeting, which will chart the way forward for the regional bloc. Deji Bademosi, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
Our correspondent Ajek Mangote is standing by in Abuja. She joins us live for more developments. So Ajek, leaders from West Africa's regional bloc are attending an emergency meeting there in Abuja to deliberate on the situation in Niger. What's the latest on this?
Yes, Penina, President Bola Tinubu, who is the chair of ECOWAS, called this emergency meeting to try and put pressure on the coup leaders in Niger to restore President Bazoum's government. They will be meeting to, discuss what sanctions they could impose on Niger to try and force the military leaders to restore this government that was overthrown on Wednesday. So it's not clear what sort of sanctions they would give, but it's likely going to be political or economic sanctions, like we've seen in the case of Mali and Burkina Faso when the military took over the government, of those countries. Already, the European Union and France, the former colonial power, has already cut off financial aid, and that's going to have an impact on humanitarian aid in the country where millions, are facing hunger and malnutrition and are in need of humanitarian assistance. So the meeting in Abuja today is going to further, put ECOWAS stance on condemning this coup, and they've said that they will not tolerate any act that undermines democracy. There's likely going to be military force. There's likely going to be a suspension of Niger from the regional bloc. We're likely also going to see a closure of border, coming out of this meeting.
Right. So talk to us about the options that are available to ECOWAS in trying to resolve the political crisis in Niger.
Well, Penina, political and security experts are saying that we're likely to see some military intervention in this particular case of Niger. It was not the case in Mali and Burkina Faso, but the military coup leaders in Niger have warned against any intervention, any military intervention by the ECOWAS. We're also likely to see the Niger being suspended from the ECOWAS. Also, financial aid could likely be cut off. Trade between its neighboring countries also might be cut off, to try and force the hands of the military coup leaders to hand over power back to President Mohamed Bazoum. But all these are expectations from political and security experts. So after the meeting, we should hear some sort of concrete stance of the ECOWAS against this coup in Niger.
All right, thank you for that update. Ajek Mangut live for us in Abuja, Nigeria.